All right, everyone. Microscope is fixated on Kavanaugh and everything surrounding him, so that's pretty much the only news. It's been like 4 days that Kavanaugh has been trending nonstop, along with Brett and along with FBI investigation just on Twitter alone. The whole world is obsessed with Brett Kavanaugh. There was an interesting aside, by the way. A couple days ago, I saw this on 4chan, actually, on Politically Incorrect. Someone was posting about, hey, now I'm not from the United States, but for some reason, doesn't it feel a little bit odd that people just talk more and more about U.S. politics to the exclusion of foreign things, even when they're in another country? It's like the U.S. is gobbling up the whole world media cycle. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Now, not entirely. Of course, anything that has to do with upsurging political movements, like Bolsonaro. Bolsonaro is big in the news. Duterte, certainly at the time and still from time to time now. NAFTA, stuff like that. But a lot of this involves the United States, like Bolsonaro. He's like considered Brazil's Trump or something. So there is a little bit of overlap. It is a little bit odd. But the Kavanaugh circus is fucking collapsing. The whole, the whole thing is rotten to the core. If it was pretty obvious before that this was some sort of a political hit job, it is now so obvious that it's a political hit job. I mean, what's the FBI doing, even bothering at this point? They should come out and say, look, there's no evidence of any of this. We've tried to be thorough. Some of these people, we're not even going to call them, because it's like saying that your neighbor threatened to nuke your house or something and they deny it. There's nothing to look into. The allegation makes no sense. So first we've got Swetnik. Of course, that's Avenatti's client, who Avenatti's being a little tight-lipped about it now. I wonder why. It's because Swetnik went before, I think it was NBC, has an interview. Basically held to parts of her story, but the two most important parts of her story she appears to no longer be willing to corroborate. Number one, that she ever had any real evidence that Brett Kavanaugh raped anybody or organized gangers. Number two, she's not even certain now. She was totally certain before. She's no longer certain that Brett Kavanaugh spiked anyone's drinks. Well, that's funny. Those are the only two major things that you said he did. Spiked people's drinks and organized gang rape parties. That's the whole fucking sum and substance of what Swetnik alluded to from the get-go in her statements to the media. Whoops. So in other words, what you're saying is that the only thing left is that Brett Kavanaugh was an angry drunk. You see this happening. I'll tell you this absolutely. The media is shifting its focus from Brett Kavanaugh broke the law to Brett Kavanaugh's demeanor. That is a tell for the fact that those that are in the know, they rub elbows with the Senate. They know what's going on. They know that Brett Kavanaugh broke no law. He will get confirmed almost certainly. He did not rape anybody. He did not assault anybody. The claims are bogus. They're manufactured. Then we get, of course, Christine Ford, her ex-boyfriend, saying, oh yeah, she was coached on the polygraph. Yeah, she knew what to expect. She knew how polygraphs worked. She wasn't going to be nervous. Yeah, by the way, there are other inconsistencies now with her testimony, too. Meanwhile, all the brainwashed sheep, all they can say is, well, Kavanaugh may have drank more in college than he let on. I don't fucking care how much he drank. I can drink heavily, too. That doesn't mean that I broke any law, and it doesn't have anything to do with the demeanor of a person in their line of work. Is he intending to drink beer heavily while making legal decisions? No, then it doesn't matter. And it's all this bullshit about it's a job interview, so it's okay. The concept of being considered innocent until proven guilty is understood by intelligent, rational, enlightened individuals. If you do not understand that concept and wish to crucify him based on no evidence that you're not even fully privy to anyway, then you're not an enlightened, rational, sane, intelligent individual. That's the whole fucking point. Yeah, it's enshrined in the legal code, but it's just like free speech. The concept of speaking your mind goes beyond the Constitution preventing the government from abusing you for speaking your mind. It's an ethos, a principle, a philosophy. The philosophical backing is universal. It goes beyond the legal system. It's the right to defend yourself goes beyond, hey, the government can't keep you from owning a gun. Well, a private entity can't do that either. There's a reason for that. I am saying until such time as I'm presented some degree of reasonable evidence beyond mere testimonial conjecture that Brett Kavanaugh broke some law or did something totally dubious, I disbelieve it. No, I don't believe her. No, I believe him. And if I had a son, I would say, oh, I better let him know here. about this situation. It's like, what would you tell your daughter if your daughter made this claim? How would you act if your son was Brett Kavanaugh? And there's another flip side to that, but we don't care about that. It's like a bunch of feminists were talking, one of my subscribers, I think, on a Twitter thread the other day, browbeating him. They're like, well, if she's drunk, she can't consent. Okay, well, Brett Kavanaugh was supposedly drunk, so if he screwed anyone, does that mean they raped him? I guess so. He can't consent, he's drunk. I always did wonder about that. I think even the MRAs are a little bit right on that. Why is it that if a couple is drunk, it's only the dude who's committing rape? Why isn't the woman? Is it because she's physically smaller? What if she's not? What if she's like a linebacker or something for women's football? What if it's some little 5 foot tall dude, some little manlet or something, some little scrawny dude? Then we have as well Booker coming out. You probably saw this. He's gone totally apeshit. He comes out and he says, well, I don't even care if Kavanaugh is innocent or guilty. We need to get past worrying about that, which is basically, hey, yeah, I know Kavanaugh's not guilty. I know he's not going to be found guilty, but his demeanor, Trump should try to appoint someone else because Kavanaugh has a bad demeanor. You know what? It doesn't matter if you don't like his demeanor. Ruth Bader Ginsburg has gotten drunk before presidential addresses and can't even keep her head up, falls asleep half the time during court proceedings. What about her fucking demeanor, Mr. Booker? So Senator Booker's nuts. And if there was any doubt about the fact that he wouldn't be able to wage a proper presidential candidacy, I think he just basically shot himself in the foot with that one. In all honesty, I think that his presidential ambition should definitely end in the next 24 hours. Yeah, do some soul searching. The way that you looked there to an independent audience, to someone who's not like, Trump MAGA or, Kavanaugh's the greatest, whatever, to someone who's just, passively inclined to believe that Kavanaugh's the one being victimized here, because there's no evidence that he victimized anyone and you're dragging him across, raking him over the coals right now. You look like a bully. And indeed, Cory Booker is a bully. He's an ineffective nut. Then we have a Grassley letter coming out with regards to Ford's ex-boyfriend, which I just spoke of. So Grassley's on board. He's like, this has become a witch hunt. This is crazy. You've got some of the testimony being apparently either pulled back, scaled back a little bit, like with Swetnik's, or now in question, especially with regards to the polygraph a la Ford. It's basically all the evidence so-called that you were working with from the get-go. So the testimony of two of these individuals, including the only one considered credible enough to deeply investigate, that's all in question now. You have, basically people, Democrats saying, well, at this point, doesn't matter if he's innocent or guilty. He still shouldn't be confirmed because he went after the Democrats, the same people calling him a gang rapist, basically saying that he was the scum of the earth. People were treating him unfairly. He got a little upset at this. Oh my God, he doesn't have the demeanor for SCOTUS. Dude, a couple hundred years ago, if a person was on the Supreme Court, there was a chance that they had participated in duels and killed people and done all sorts of crazy shit. Like, we've had presidents before that were literally chronic drunks, like Andrew Jackson, who used to get so drunk he would tear up the pub with his friends and throw furniture around and try to burn the place to the ground and killed multiple people. And allied with pirates and weird shit like that. And then, the cheese wheel incident, probably his crowning achievement. We've had presidents that were like that. We've had people in Congress who have behaved totally badly. And you're sitting there talking about how somehow, this time it's different. This time he has to be on his perfect behavior. He's not allowed to react defensively to the fact that we as a Senate committee body are calling him a gang rapist. He's not allowed to react with any form of emotion. He should be a total robot. I think it was great the way he reacted, and I hope he gets confirmed. I hope he gets confirmed and immediately starts becoming a gadfly for the Democrats. That's what I hope happens. I hope he punishes the Democrats. Yes, I actually do. Because then maybe they'll learn better than to do this again. Maybe, you've got Lindsey Graham coming out and warning the Democrats if this is the new norm for, appointees and stuff. At some point you're going to want to appoint people and, maybe we'll do the same thing, basically. Then he comes out and he makes these statements. He's like, hey, don't think that it's just one party that can behave in this manner. He's fundamentally right. He was actually being surprisingly nonpartisan. He's like, look, this is not the way that we should be behaving as a country. I would say that the Kavanaugh thing, there's a 99% chance he gets confirmed. Jeff Flake will probably be like, okay, enough is enough. I had my grandstanding moment. All you need, though, is Murkowski to be, persuaded. Now, though, we have one other thing. And this is not good. Both Feinstein and McConnell are alluding to this. They're saying, well, the FBI report won't be made public. At least most of it won't. I think it should be made 100% public. You know why? I don't have faith that the Senate is going to properly do its job, because over the last few weeks it's been a fucking embarrassment to this country. The whole report should be completely released. Trump should step in and make sure that it's absolutely unredacted. Release the whole thing. Let the investigation into Kavanaugh stand on its own merits before the public. By the way, there's a good chance that he'll do that. He'll ignore, the will of people like Mitch McConnell. He should. The people have a right. After such a media circus, Brett Kavanaugh has a right too. If the FBI determines that the allegations are not credible, he has a right to see closure on this. Because the FBI appears to be the one body left that all of these screaming, meme social justice warriors will listen to and take seriously. So yeah, it should absolutely be released. That's about all. Peace out.